So you guys, I think I've come to the conclusion that I'm just gonna stop reviewing hip-hop albums, man. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, how do guys like this have so many resources and whatnot at their disposal and still proceed to drop some of the most bottom tier and mediocre projects that would make Jesus is King by Kanye West seem like the best thing since sliced bread? And you know, I try to be patient, praying for the day I can finally hear a 10 out of 10 hip-hop album, but I feel like if I keep praying for the day to come, I'm just gonna get casted down to hell to be tortured by having to listen to Honestly Nevermind on repeat. So instead, I'm just gonna pull up my big boy pants and talk about Trippie Redd's latest album, Musik, being another collection of rage trap beats and tons of features to make for another dud so early in the year. Alright, so you know, ever since Trippie Redd was put on the XXL freshman class all those years ago, he's dropped quite a slew of projects, and every now and then he's shown himself to have a lot of potential stored up. But in between all those little glimpses, we get a lot of mediocrity, and when listening to this album, I think I can say once again that we're hit with a truckload of mid-tier rage trap and pretty basic Trippie Redd energy that doesn't really stand out to me at all, to be honest. I mean, it's not like I expected him to be some crazy lyrical rapper like Kendrick or J. Cole, but at the same time when listening to this album, it's like the only thing worth paying attention to is his delivery throughout these songs, because as far as lyrical content goes, it's nothing to write home about. And even when looking at the delivery itself, it's nothing too crazy either, because a lot of it seems pretty repetitive in sound, kind of just piggybacking off whatever beat he's given. And then seeing how this album clocks in at over an hour in length with 25 tracks, I already knew that it was going to be filled with unnecessary fluff and some bloated mess. And of course, I was right, with about half of these songs holding little to no weight or having no distinguishable features and sound to keep me entertained, such as the track Toilet Water that has undeniably got to be the worst song off this entire album, with this dickhead Trippie having the audacity to put poop bars everywhere on the song, and they cap it off with a toilet flushing sound effect that genuinely made me want to jump off a bridge. But as for the production, as stated before, it's nothing crazy for the most part. I think Trippie's just squeezing out the last bit of whatever he can out of the rage trap sound before it finally dies out, with a lot of these tracks having some heavy 808s and tons of fast-paced high energy to keep you entertained and blow the speakers out of your 2012 Nissan Altima. But still, if I did have to point anything out, it would be the Chief Keef production that was sprinkled all on this album, such as with the intro track Musik, Atlantis, and Rock Out. And if I'm being honest, I actually liked all three of these beats equally. I feel like Chief Keef has grown to be a pretty solid producer, helping to bring back that Chicago drill sound into the modern day rap scene and complementing well with Trippie's rapping ability to make some pretty alright tracks. I guess the only problem is that I wish he knew how to properly mix his own vocals without it sounding like he's standing 30 feet away from the mic. Cause man, I don't know if it's just me, but I could barely hear a thing that this man was saying thanks to the 808s, drowning out 90% of the song. And it's not just Keef's vocals either, with just about every feature except for Lil Durk sounding like they were being suffocated when they had to record. And then there's the features, which I'm gonna be honest, I can't even be bothered to go all the way through, so I'm gonna just say the ones that caught my attention, starting off with Juice WRLD on Nightcrawler, being the first posthumous Juice feature I've heard in a long while, and this time bringing this screamy rockstar vibe to the beat that I honestly could have done without. And then there's the fact that he took over a majority of the song, while Trippie felt more like the features, so there's that. But moving forward, we also got Mr. Astro World Tragedy himself, aka Travis Scott on Crazy Train, and I'm gonna be honest and say it was a tragedy here in this verse, cause that shit sucked ass. And then there was Lil Baby, Duh Baby, Rich the Kid, and even Lil fucking B on this album, and there's no need to see how their verses held up, cause those sucked ass too. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know why Trippie bothered getting so many people to feature on this project, but he really should have went back to the drawing board, cause this was like an all-star game of the most mediocre voices in hip-hop. But overall, this album is about as Trippie Redd as it can get. It's repetitive, it's bloated, it has too many features, and it's just a chore to get through after the halfway mark. And I tried to go through this with a more open mind, but all this album has proven to me is that mainstream trap has really run its course. So to put this on a scale, I'm giving this a low 3 out of 10, with Chief Sosa being the main factor that kept me entertained. But how do you guys feel about the new Trippie Redd album? What would you rate it? Let me know down in the comments by liking and subscribing. Follow my IG and Twitter, and follow Chocolate on Instagram for more illustrations. And on that note, I'll see you guys on Monday when I try very, very, very hard to forget what I just heard. Peace.
With my mug on me. Oh, DD, oh, what it is? Oh, DD, what?